With 2 times total points at grocery stores, your same kitchen can come with more cuisines. Sapphire Preferred from Chase. Make more of what's yours.
So thanks to everyone for joining us for today's LA Times Talks at the remote Sundance Film Festival. Today we have the director and star of Land, Robin Wright, and her co-star, Damian here to talk about the movie. So thank you guys for joining us from different parts of the country for this.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
So, Robin, I want to start by asking you, obviously, you had directed a number of episodes for House of Cards. And at what point did you start thinking about segueing from television to film?
Right away. When you get the bug. I got the bug the minute I started directing on that show. So I was very much looking forward to when the season ended, our final season, to be able to get a little taste of what feature filmmaking was like. Because also
so when you say like
stage for 6 years, you know, we were in pretend sets, and this movie Land, we were actually living what we were filming. We lived on the mountain. That cabin was on top of a mountain 8,000 feet up. So vastly different environments, if you know what I mean.
That's definitely an extreme difference. What did you respond to when you were directing that you felt like, I need to get more of this?
I just love the collaboration with all of the members, because it's more of a soloist act when you're acting. Yes, you get to rehearse with other actors and you get to work with the director, but you're pretty much alone in your trailer looking at yourself in the mirror, memorizing your lines and, you know, doing your homework. And directing, you get to work with every single department head and all of their heads of department. And I love the collaboration. I love what people bring and what actors do. Even though I'd done it for 35, 40 years, to watch an actor transform when you give them a note, or not even give them a note, just see them evolve into this zone. They don't even know they're in it. They're so in it. It's beautiful to watch.
And Damian, you had directed for the first time in 2016, right? Did you two discuss? Did you give her like, this was my experience? Did you discuss how that had been for you?
Not really. Whenever I go to a party, I know it's not my party, so I don't try to become the center of attention. No, we never discussed that. Robin didn't even know that.
He didn't tell me.
No, it wasn't relevant. You know, I was just, you know, no, I was really happy to do it again. You know, this is the fourth time I work with an actor director. You know, Quentin Tarantino. He not only he's a fine actor. I love him as an actor, but he also did a lot of theater back in the days, and then George Clooney, myself, and now Robin. I think the most beautiful part of watching her in action was how easy and how gracefully she commanded this, you know, very difficult ship. She's a gracious captain, and let me say something. You know, in a men's world, because this is not yet equal. You know, we need more female directors. You girls have a better view of the world, life in general, let alone in the arts. So it is still a man's world, and it's not an easy thing to direct a film for the first time, let alone being, you know, Robin Wright. So everyone has, you know, like you're watched under a microscope, and but it depends on how you handle that, how the rest of the journey will be. And it was just a joy to see how beautifully she commanded that ship. And then being a fan of her work as an actor, I had the best seat in the house. I will watch her right there, and it was just phenomenal to see her, switching hats, going from director to producer to adjusting the dialogues and this and that, and then doing her thing. What she became famous for.
Yeah, lots of kind words there. So, but you didn't even think you were going to star in the film at first, right?
Yeah, that was not the intention from the beginning. We had a window of time, where it could be financed, and a window of time that was very tight when we could shoot the movie, because we only had 29 days to shoot it, and we needed 4 seasons. So we were like, well, we better grab that window while we have it, in case we get up to Canada and there's nothing but snow. And we just knew we were going to run into scheduling complications, and we hadn't cast it yet. So the producers said, well, why don't you just do it? You're going to be there anyway. I was like, true. Okay. So that's how it ended up happening. This was not the intention. No.
So you guys have made a couple of references to filming in Canada, and you shot this on an 8,000-foot peak in Alberta, right? Like, how remote are we talking, and how far out there were you when you got on location?
It was about an hour and a half drive from the city Calgary to that mountain. But when you had icy days, it took a bit longer.
Wow. And so did you immediately get in the mindset of feeling like, what if I was stranded out here and there was nothing else? Like, how did you mentally prepare to put yourself in the place of being that isolated?
I think just being on that location and making the executive decision to have the cabin, a real cabin, built on that mountain instead of just shooting in a stage. Because sometimes you would have both locations available to you. We were like, nope, let's go into the elements. Let's be a part of what we're filming, because it was so fast. And we had to capture so much in so little time. We had, what did you call it, Damian? The bear whisperer. We had our daily bear whisperer on set. Rob was his name. And he would have these
What is a bear whisperer?
Well, I don't know. I just said that, didn't I? He would whisper to the bears.
Well,
And
it's
he
it's a
had
guy who
some-
talks to bears, yeah, to keep him,
Yep.
away from us.
Keep them at bay, because we had a set bear. We didn't have one in the scene for the movie. That was visual effects, because we couldn't afford to get one. But we had a bear on set every day looking for craft service. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Did you guys have any like close encounters with any, wild animals out there?
A big one. Our crowd. Do you remember this story, Damian?
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
remember if you were there that day. It was about 5 o'clock in the morning, pitch dark, and one of the producers and we decided to stay in our trailers on the mountain next to the cabin most of the shoot. So we would hear the people arriving, those that arrive first, the crew members that arrive in the morning. And I hear this screaming, shrieking, get out of here, get out. I was like, who is 4:30 in the morning? Like, all right. And I look out the trailer window, and the bear is physically trying to get into the craft service trailer where she is preparing things for breakfast. So she had this wrought iron skillet and a big spatula, silver spatula. She was banging it on the thing and finally scared the bear away. But it took about 5 minutes of her screaming bloody murder before that bear ran away. Because they can open doors.
Yeah.
So they told us at night when we were sleeping in our trailers, they were like, okay, you can barbecue. Here's your, because we had a little barbecue pit outside the trailer to make dinner. And our bear whisperer, Rob, would come by and just say, tell me when you're ready to go to bed because I'm locking you in, like double locking you in your trailer. And our
Oh my gosh.
DP,
Well,
Bobby, he lived in Edie's trailer pretty much the whole time. He slept in
Edie's
Edie's
cabin.
sleeping bag. Yeah. Yep. So he could get up
Oh
in the
my gosh.
morning or get up in the middle of the night and capture all of those beautiful shots that he got.
That's dedication. So obviously the character that you play, Robin, she has gone through a really traumatic life event and is experiencing a lot of grief and feels like she just doesn't want to be around people and literally takes the most extreme path of, you know, being hundreds of miles away from people in the middle of nowhere in the wilderness. And I think a lot of people sometimes have that fantasy when they get overwhelmed by life of like, why don't I just go live in a cabin in the woods, Thoreau style? Have either of you ever, you know, fantasized about that, about what it would be like to be that self-reliant and in the middle of nowhere?
I I fantasize about so many things, and yeah, but and most of them have been fulfilled through different films that I made. Uh, I've been wanting to do so many things in life, and this, being up there in front of nature was one of them, without a doubt. I think it has, being in front of nature, it's so overwhelmingly powerful, and it has healing properties. Um, so I've never done it before for real, but now I could do it because I got really well trained to do it, by a real mountain guy who taught me how to do it, out there, how to fish, how to hunt, and skin a deer, and just survive, chop the wood, and a few other tricks I learned from the bear. I learned how to open the craft service so I could, enter and empty it.
Getting the tips wherever you need them, I guess. What about you, Robin?
I tell you, like he said, we were trained by an experienced mountain man who literally in his own life lives off the grid with his wife and his children
Yep.
by choice. No running water, no electricity, blah blah. Truthfully, I think I could definitely live off the grid if I had that mountain man with me all the time. So could we do like a cabin and then he could have a cabin next door in case things went wrong?
Right.
That would be great. Because it's tough. Like learning how to chop wood. I thought, it's going to be easy. This is a cinch. It's really difficult to be good at it.
Like strenuous physically, you mean?
Yes, you have the precision needed to split that log in half. You have to nail it perfectly in the middle section of the wood. And Damian would keep laughing. He was like, I think I almost chopped my leg off on that one,
Yeah,
It's tricky.
it's a real
It's a
risk.
little tricky.
Yeah, there's a real risk of chopping off your leg if you don't do it properly. And then after you do a couple of logs, then you have blisters all over your hands, and it's not an easy thing. It looks more romantic in films, and it looks great. The way Edie learns how to do it, and the way I did it, I was surprised I did it right. Because I just couldn't nail it the first time I tried. It was pretty embarrassing, and but then that's our job. That's what they hire us for, to make you believe that we're experts on many different things.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we've seen a lot of stories in this vein where people sort of wander off somewhere remote to have that rediscovery within themselves into the wild. There's survival shows like Alone and obviously Survivor and stuff like that. Why do you think we're so intrigued by that idea, and what made land a different sort of take on, going into nature and finding yourself?
I mean, I echo what Damian just said. Nature has healing properties. And I think most people would feel that, whether they are naturally pulled to nature or not. Once you get in it and you start to observe it, not as a picture anymore, you're observing all of the eccentricities that it is, just like people in society are. You're like, wow, those are like that tree is a completely different character from that bush over there.
Mm.
Yeah.
And just the quiet, but it's full of noise, beautiful noise. It's
Yeah.
not mayhem until the scary part of nature blows winds that are 75 miles an hour and they're making sounds like wolves and tigers, and it's incredible the music that it puts out.
I think we humans, we love that thought of it, just the chance to do it. It has to do with genetic information, I guess. It's like millions of years of evolution. That's us. Just 2,000, 100 years ago, 200,000 years ago. That's us, in touch with that. I think that's in our genes.
Yeah, I totally agree. And a- another thing that the film really does a great job of conveying the importance of is friendship between your two characters. I mean, you sort of step in to help Edie in a literal time of life or death. Um, what do you think the film has to say about the importance of the kindness of strangers? I mean, watching it in this time specifically when we're all really separated from our friends, I think struck me even more intensely watching how powerfully you two connected.
Sometimes, or most of the time, you find people helping each other when you feel that you have something in common with that person. And that's exactly what's dividing us as humans. It's like, oh, Iraq, yeah, that's another planet. Oh, Mexico, yeah, that's no, no.
Mm.
Oh, they're caging children. Those are not my children, so that's totally fine. And just the fact that two entirely different human beings coincidentally are in the same place, they have that chance. Miguel can't just, any other human being can just watch his hands and say, "That's not my problem. Keep walking." But that's exactly what I feel that is so powerful about this film. That in this time and place, this is who we are. We help each other because we don't have any other choice. Because if you don't help your neighbor, then that will come back and haunt you later. And so to me, it's about that. Regardless of who we are, we're in the same boat, and we better take care of each other.
That was a lovely way of putting it. Robin, did you get to know Damian as a friend as well as an actor to sort of strengthen that relationship in the film?
We didn't have the time to get to know each other.
Mm.
But the minute he came into my house, the first time we met to talk about the movie, because I really wanted him to do it, we were exactly like we are right now. We were giggling, and just there was a connection of knowingness. I feel like it was like I felt like I knew him. I know he understands without even having to dissect in detail Miguel. He totally gets it. He was born to play this part. You needed a soulful, spiritual man of knowingness. And Demian is that, I think, even though I don't know him very well. But once we got on set and started doing our training together, learning how to chop wood, learning how to skin the deer, things like that, we just would giggle all the time. We were constantly giggling, which is so terrible to say because it's such a heavy movie we were making. But man, did we make ourselves laugh. Maybe we needed to. The
Yeah,
levity.
I think we needed that. I think we somehow, looked for those opportunities, just have a beautiful time together. It's just, meeting Robin was, what happens sometimes with some friends that have been your friends forever, but you just haven't met each other. You just haven't met them, and it doesn't happen very often. With so many films that I've been to everywhere, in different languages and different places and different cinematographies. Um, it's not that easy to get that connection. You recognize each other, I guess.
That's nice. I want to quickly go back to skinning the deer because that's come up a few times. Like, why was that necessary in the training? And was it like a harrowing experience or did you get into it? Was it gross?
It's pretty gross.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a meat eater, but I did have a question in my mind. I was like, maybe this vegetarian thing is something to think about. It's pretty gory and graphic, and yeah, when you start thinking about it as you're doing it, yeah, there's something not right about it. And then again, 200,000 years ago, people were eating animals, so this is nothing new.
Yeah,
Right.
we're hunters. That's what we do. We go out there and try to get what we need to eat, and for thousands. And one thing I learned from my mountain guy, and that's something that I usually do anyway, is that I actually thank the fish for feeding me. I actually tell the cow or the chicken, thank you so much for offering your life so we can, move on with ours. And I don't take that for granted. We don't have to actually hunt and then, kill the hen or, the cow and or skin the deer. Uh, but we thank them.
Right. Yeah, I know. We're so removed from it. I know. Did it change? Well, I guess you're saying you thank the animal now for eating, but does it, I guess you become more mindful after an experience like that every time you do eat an animal, right?
I not really. I love my ribeyes, and then nothing will change that. Nothing will change that. Please, medium rare. And I became an expert also in grilling my own ribeye. So
That's
I don't
right.
I don't think that will change. But you're always aware. You have to be aware of whatever is surrounding you. You have to. It's not only about us human, but whatever is around us. Even the plants around you and everything else. We have taken for granted so many of those things, and we're changing.
So, if it was not 2021, we would be, in a very different landscape, the snowy mountains of Park City for this film festival, talking about the movie there, probably wearing heavy boots and parkas. So, Robin, how do you feel about the fact that, your directorial debut is debuting at Sundance in this sort of weird, different time where the film festival is virtual? I know you've been there in the past. Does it feel different to you? Does it have the same excitement?
It does have the same excitement because it's such an honor to have been chosen. It does not change the excitement. I think because this story is so timely, what a gift that we were given to be able to premiere at the Sundance Film Festival because of everything we've been experiencing, all of us, this last 11, 12 months. Forget about the last
Yeah.
4 years. I mean, that's a whole other conversation. But, there's been a lot of loss and a lot of grief, and we're all psychologically messed up from this time that we've been living in. We won't really know until years gone by. We'll look back and go, wow, that changed in me. What things are going to be permanently changed? My instinct to hug people because I'm so tactile, I don't even have that instinct anymore. So this movie is about a greater loss than what we are talking about right now, but it's about resilience and the belief in a newfound faith that you can continue. And yes, most of the time It's with the help of another human being who's kind. People pull us through adversity. And I just wanted to make that movie. I wanted that message to be out there in all the ugliness that's been going on and sadness that people have been experiencing.
Yeah, I think that's a really beautiful message to take away from it, and it will reach people however it does. I mean, in terms of the pandemic affecting, the film industry, Damian, you were just in a movie on Netflix, Midnight Sky, that I think a lot of people saw from obviously the comfort of their home. Has the everything that movie theaters have been going through the last almost 12 months, and changes in distribution, how has it all affected you two and what you do and how you think about the way your work is released?
Well, I'm a big supporter of new avenues and new technology, new everything. Uh, just the fact that we have this right now, that we can communicate like that. I only saw that in James Bond films when I was a kid, and this is just wonderful, And of course, films are made are destined to be watched in a big screen, and that's how you appreciate it better. But you'd be surprised how many Academy members, they just watch the films at home. They don't really go out or go to the Academy screening room or anything like that. So to me, it's a chance that you, as an spectator, miss. Do not miss that chance. When this goes back to normal and we have the chance to go to the movies again, go to the movies, and then you can keep your favorite films to watch it at home whenever you want. And some other films are made to be watched at home. That's great, because we're millions of actors. We're so many talented actors out there. We all need a window to show our work. So whether it's a series, a TV series, or a film destined to be watched on a streaming avenue, or a film, it's all about the people involved and how serious you are about it. I think this is a beautiful film that I can't watch to see on a big screen. I only watched it on my uh, plasma TV, as well as Midnight Sky. But I'm really, really hoping to have that chance to watch them in a big screen. That will be great when it's back to normal.
Do you agree, Robin?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's huge. We are opening in theaters February 12th. I think over 1,000 theaters. But even that's tricky. Where are those theaters, and how many seats are in them, and
Yeah.
is it ever, it's never going to be the same experience where you have a packed theater and you feel the energy of people, and it is unfortunate that not everyone will be able to watch this movie, just because it's so much, nature is such a character in the film, and it's so majestic, it's epic, and it'd be nice to see it on the big screen. That's the only sad part about this time that we're in, but at least it will it'll be available for you to watch in your own home on your TV.
And also, I have to say something to everybody out there. If you take the time to go to a restaurant, because you can't, stand anymore to be trapped in your home. If you go out to bars, if you go out, being in a movie theater is a safest experience also, because you have to wear your mask, you will be protected, and you don't have to take it off, and then you will sit there, and when it's over, you go home. So hopefully
That's
people
true.
can give that a chance, as the same way they go out to do many other things, they can also go into a movie theater, which, trust me, the movie theater owners, they know what this is. So they have taken every precaution very seriously, and there's no way, you won't be safe.
Hopefully, yeah. And hopefully we'll all be vaccinated soon, and then it'll, you know, be even better. Um, so for both of you, because you both had the experience of directing now and acting, how would you say, I don't know if you've actually acted since this, Robin, since directing land, but Do you think there are lessons that you're going to take from the experience that you'll bring to your craft as an actor or an actress?
I mean, it's such a different experience not being in front of the camera as well. So I'm looking forward to having that taste of just directing, and because it's literally like you're splitting your brain in half when you're when you're doing both. You have to be very adaptable, and it's a job. So yes, you can snap into an emotion and just be in character, and then jump behind the camera and go look at playback, etc. But it would be nice to just have eyes on the evolution of movie coming into its own, and what actors do so beautifully.
Yeah. Have you found you've changed in your performance at all, Damian, since your turn behind the camera?
I don't know. One thing I noticed that when I directed myself is that I was able to be a little more cynic as an actor because, I knew the director. So I could do anything I wanted as an actor. And I just, don't ever listen to him, But here, we had a bear whisperer, squirrel whisperer, and an actor's whisperer. So, but my tamer, my actor's whisperer, she had everything in place, so it was very easy to follow directions. She guided me through this beautiful character that to me it's a real challenge. We wanted to create a character that was frugal not only in words but also in actions and in physically and emotionally, and I'm very, very proud of what we achieved.
By the way, this bear whisperer, squirrel whisperer, mountain man, was this all the same person? Like, who was this mountain man? Where did you find him?
Oh no, there's a man for each animal.
Oh.
Oh yeah. If you're going to be an expert, you got to go immerse yourself completely just in bearism.
Were there any things you guys learned in terms of the nature skills that obviously not the deer skinning, but like maybe the wood chopping? Were there things that you took from that experience that you think have made you more like self-reliant in everyday life?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I was thinking of two very different tasks. I'm sure we've all camped, right? Because I camped as a kid constantly. We were always going camping, intense. So that was just inherent in me. I know how to do a sponge bath and, not having a bathtub like she had. It's more how long things take to do.
Mm.
And when you lose a water jug down a river, those rapids, they look really small. They're so strong. The current is so powerful. And even the camera guys and our DP standing in that water to get a shot, Bobby had to have 3 guys holding him. Yeah. It was so forceful. And it was nothing. It looks like little ripples. It was pulling us down the river, and it was freezing cold water. I mean, freezing. And you're supposed to be playing like you're in summertime. So those kinds of things were a bit shocking to the system and the nervous system, to say the least.
So like an appreciation for sort of the intensity of nature and like how cautious you have to be.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you know what? It makes you more aware of the fact that there are millions of people living in those conditions everywhere in the world. People who have to walk a couple of kilometers, a couple of miles to get water just for daily, usage. And we take that for granted. We open the faucet and then we let it run. I think that out of respect, this time we live in, it's had demanded that from us. This is not about us individually. It's about, out of respect to the people, for example, the doctors and nurses and all the hospital personnel who are fighting, out of respect to them, just wear your damn mask. You know what I mean? It's like, stop that nonsense. It's out of respect to others, not only about your own comfort.
Damian, I wanted to ask a little bit about your performance. I know you're the guy who sort of is leading Robin's character through this difficult period and guiding her. Um, and yet you're a really insular kind of guy. You obviously keep a lot to yourself. How did you get into that mindset of that mix of sort of authoritative, but also keep to yourself, reserved?
It's a very lonely process. This is the only process in which I compare actors with writers or painters. It's a very, very lonely process. It's pretty much your entire day is about that. It's about the music
Mm.
you listen to. It's about even the shows you watch on TV back where I was staying. Everything I do, it's everything goes for Miguel. Everything I eat, the things I do, of course, the look and whatever you choose your character to look like, I'd rather take that home and see it on the mirror every day. It goes very, very fast. Whether it's 29 days or 5 months, shooting a film goes very, very fast. And so I try to be connected in that territory. And this character demanded that, that introspectividad. Does that exist?
Oh,
This
I love it in
Introspection.
Spanish. Say it in Spanish.
introspective, introspective. He needed to be introspective fully, and I played that, all day long. Even my rides, 1.5 hour riding all the way up to the mountain with my driver, we would chat about very, very like deep issues, that would concern me as Miguel and him. And fortunately enough, he would be in the same track somehow. Weirdly, we would be in the same, track. So it was a beautiful experience all around.
Wow. Did the driver realize you were like getting into character? Or he thought that they were just chatting?
I don't think he did, and I usually do that with my drivers. When I shot a film in Argentina, I had to play Argentinian accent, so I would use my driver as my coach. And he never knew. And one day, my director told me, "You're speaking like Miguel was his name. You're talking like Miguel, man. This is just like perfect." Yeah, I'm imitating Miguel now. And yeah, I don't think Bruce knew that. Bruce, I love you, man, wherever you are. Yeah, but he's also a soul man. He's also very well connected with the things that matter.
Well, I want to thank both of you for being a part of this today, and I'm so excited for people to see the film, whether it be if they buy a ticket to the Sundance virtual screening, or they're going to a theater down the road when it's safe. I think everyone's going to really enjoy it. So thank you to Robin and Damian for being a part of this, and
Thank you.
good luck on the film.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Thanks so much.